This is ground control to Major Tim. We're floating here now. Okay, now, this is just going to be me talking. I was going to do another video and show you stuff, but I'm not in the mood for it. I'm just going to talk, and I'll let you guys go figure it out for yourself. But anywho, if you don't want to hear dumb shit, and if you're happy with the way your life is right now, then just pass this video. Just scroll, keep scrolling. Okay, now that they're gone, now that those people are gone, listen. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on about how we supposedly can't go into outer space. NASA faked everything, yada, 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 right? Flat Earth, I don't know. But what I do know is if you pay attention, you will see some things that are off, okay? I'm not going to say if it's flat Earth or what the fuck it is. But if you pay attention, you can see through the cracks, right? Now, about, I don't know, 9-10 years ago, something like that, they had a news thing on the internet stating that an astronaut spacesuit, a 30-year-old spacesuit, had sprung a leak. Now, this doesn't seem likely at all because they don't use the same suits that they did 30 years ago. You know, 10 years ago and then 30 years before that, they don't use the same suits. In fact, if you go and look and research and see all the different missions that they've gone on, they use different suits. And I know they upgrade all the time, and you can see clearly that the suits they use now are different than the suits they used 30 years ago, right? So they're trying to say that the spacesuit. Now, then I got curious. I'm like, well, that's weird. Why would they make that up? Well, why would that be an issue, right? So anywho, I did look it up. I did look up further because I remember NASA coming to school when I was a kid. And a short thing, then they said, well, we have some pieces of a suit that are roughly the same size as an average person, and then we have to tailor make the rest of them. And then they said, well, we had to tailor make them. So NASA does keep changing their story. Now, back to the spacesuit thing. So then I got curious, and I was like, wait a second, hey, isn't space like full of radiation and stuff? And yeah, NASA, by its own admittance, there is some radiation. Now, I went and looked this up a while ago, and this is what I was going to look up on the video. I might do it yet. That might be my next video, or one of my next videos. I might look it up on the internet and show everybody. But the basics are, in outer space, when you go out past our atmosphere, there's a certain amount of radiation, and they measure it in sieverts. But this is the weird part. When I looked at it years ago, some had it in sieverts and some had it in whatever other measurement they had. So they kind of split up the measurements, kind of like standard metric, so you can't figure it out. They try to make you so you can't figure it out because they're telling a story, But anywho, so you look up the maximum sieverts in radiation in space that a person can handle, right? And it's well above. The only thing that can stop that much radiation is like 4 foot of water or like a certain amount of lead. And there's no way that they have either one of those that they are encapsulated in up there. Okay. Again, you can look it up for yourself. I'm going to look it up again. It's been a long time, but that's all I know. When you start looking at stuff and you start seeing the cracks, see through the cracks, it's like, there's no way. They didn't use the same spacesuits 30 years ago. So I don't know how it sprung a leak. And then you think about the sieverts, the amount of radiation that's in the space is supposed to be out in outer space. That's why we're in this environment, right? But anywho, the only thing that stops that amount of radiation and the LD50 is way above or well within that range, right? So the LD50 means that anybody goes out in space longer than a few minutes, you're going to die anyway. So there's a lot of stuff that they're not telling us the truth about, and people don't recognize this. They don't see it. And it's funny because if you mention it to somebody, like, see, and you can bring up something like really logical, but they'll immediately dismiss it, and they probably won't have the specific information. They'll just pull it like out of nowhere. They will try it sometime, like, you know, say, hey, you know, isn't water level always level? And, you know, like, if you go out in outer space, you know, can't you die from radiation? Oh, well, there's all this, and, you know, they have this special fabric, and people just make up shit. I'm seriously, they'll make it up, and don't try to prove them wrong. Do not try to prove them wrong. And I'm not going to prove anybody wrong. I'm not going to try to prove anybody right. All I'm saying is this. That's what I've seen. Go look it up and tell me what you see, I guess. But anyhow, stay safe out there and don't buy into the lies.